Tasty Twist with John and Joel. Take it away, boys.
Go for it.
Yes, indeed. Good morning, everybody. This is once again episode number 13 of the Tasty Twist with Sammy B. Hard to believe, already up to 13 episodes. I am your host, Sammy Blanchette. Once again, we are here at Okemo Valley TV. Thanks to the whole team here for making this platform possible here. Shout out to all of our previous musicians and business owners and anybody who has come in to make this podcast possible. Again, this is an open forum podcast platform where we are encouraging Vermont musicians all across the state, local business owners, entrepreneurs to come in, just chat about life, food, music, all other stuff in between. And once again, you can watch all the episodes, there's 7 so far, available via Okemo Valley TV's mobile app. Subscribe to their YouTube channel as well too, or simply go to okemovalley.tv. And for those that still watch live TV, you can also follow them on VTEL channel 166 and 167 and Comcast 1076 and 1086. So we jammed earlier in the episode with John and Joel of Rusty Door Recording. They have a little bit of everything involved with their store, and I'm sure they want to talk about how they all got started with music as well too. Once again, hi guys.
Howdy,
thanks for being a part of this again, as always.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. Music, you always play guitar or bass. Did you mix up instruments? When did you all start?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I started not long ago. So
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I did not start very long. I mean, it's been a few years, but somebody one of my kids is going to daycare and they're like, hey, do you have a bass? I was like, yeah, but I don't play it. They're like, oh, it's fine. Just bring it. So, I
So bass
that
was
way.
the first instrument you ever started on.
Actually, yeah. So,
Yeah. Loving it, obviously, I would imagine.
Learning every day. So just practice and learning.
Yeah. What's
Doing
the
this guy.
what's the genre of music of choice that you primarily like to follow as you're learning?
Probably
on the
like
bass?
alternative rock type stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
And then like 90s grunge.
Nice.
Some 90s kids. So yeah, usually stuff like that.
That's awesome. And John, you got quite the jazz chops on the guitar, right? Did you take a lot of lessons growing up, or it was?
Yeah, so I kind of bounced around on different instruments. I started off on piano when I was 4 or 5 and kind of made my way through different instruments in the school band and then picked up guitar around 7th grade. And
Did you learn primarily by ear, or did you do sight reading as well?
I did. So I took lessons for about a year in 7th grade, and then just from there for the rest of high school, it was I wanted to learn how to play this song, so I'll just sit down and learn how to do it. And then I ended up going to school for music and have a degree in guitar and composition.
And where did you go again for school?
Cincinnati Christian University. It's a small place that's shut down since then. So,
okay. Are you both from Vermont, or did you move here at a certain time, or?
I grew up in Ohio. My wife and I moved here in 2015.
Oh, nice. And
I'm from Cape Cod. I moved here in 2017.
what brought you guys all to Vermont? Everybody's got a different background of how they got here, if they're transplants. So
yeah, my in-laws live in the area, so we moved up here to be closer to them and, kind of give my wife some of her family. She had spent, 12 years around my family, so it was she decided it was time to share the wealth. And
that's
me, it's
awesome.
very encouraging.
Were you a weekend warrior coming from Cape Cod, or?
No, my in-laws live on Cape Cod, so we moved away. No,
You got to go from somewhere, right? Yeah.
No, my best friend Joe actually moved up here, and then we would come up for weddings or just come up for the weekends. We were looking in New Hampshire too to buy a house. but
Nice.
We just loved it where we were.
Vermont just has a way of like sucking you in. I mean, that's what it did for me being a Connecticut transplant, so awesome. Besides the business, which we'll get into momentarily, so you guys have your own band together, or are you just or starting a band? How's that?
Yeah, so it was an outgrowth. We run the open mic at the New American Grill every Thursday.
Yeah.
And so it had over the last 6 months or so, house band has developed of
Cool.
a core group of musicians that will back people up or, help out however they can.
Yeah, you guys got a primary drummer that you have for your group?
Yeah, this guy CJ,
Yep.
he lives in Jamaica. He was once CJ showed up, the rest of us were like, oh, we actually have a core of people. I had started off doing some drumming, but they wanted me more on guitar. So
Yeah, that's
kinda
awesome.
shifted
Yeah,
around.
talk about being hosts at the New American Grill, or just weekly regulars at the New American Grill Open Jam, because I think open mics are very critical with meeting people, and it's a community vibe, right? You would say, and especially there, that place is phenomenal. As I just saw you guys there this past Friday at my gig, so yeah,
We had to go heckle you.
of course,
Right
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been good. We started doing, how long ago did we start doing open mic?
I'd say a year and a half. I'm guessing maybe 2 years.
Maybe 2 years. I guess it was 2022.
Yeah.
We started doing the open mic there, and it's been interesting. The goal has always been for me, and it's been how do I help build up musicians in the area. I'm not a huge fan of playing out myself, but I know that that's a big thing for other people. So
Yeah.
open mic is a way to help broadly impact people.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
provide a safety net for stuff.
It's a different version of being a host also too, because if you look at what I primarily do to make a living in 2 to 3 hour solo acoustic shows versus being the host of an open mic, because I've done both, and it's an adaptability thing to be able to go from, hey, you're the star for 3 hours to, okay, you play 3 or 4 songs, and then there's a clipboard with all these different people that want to do their stuff for 3 or 4, and then you're basically just becoming a sound system check sort of guy and just making sure that everything's working, whether someone's too loud or too quiet. It's a mind shift, isn't it?
And both of us are fairly introverted. And so there's also the personality of you got to be on and go meet everybody and, make them feel welcomed and included and part of the community. And that's, the more positive the community as a whole is, the more people can feel comfortable getting up on stage for the first time and, feeling like, oh, this is a room that cares about me and supports me. And,
Absolutely, yeah. Talk a little bit about your business next door at the New American Grill. Did that come from an opportunity of that space opening up in the marketplace, or did that come solely from being open mic hosts and weekly regulars there? And it's like, hey, we actually want to expand into record shop, coffee shop, gift shop, and recording studio also as well too. Which one kind of came first?
Well, it came with the band, the previous band that we were in.
Yeah.
We were kind of losing our jam spot where we would get together and play music. So that was in a basement of a house, and things were coming to pass. We were just going to move on. So I was trying to look for another small space. And Sujay, the owner of the record shop, had a storage area in the back. And I was like, this is perfect. It's just about this size. So we were like, hey, I started renting that, and then we started playing music in there, and that's how it evolved.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Were you guys in the previous spot where the band stage is now at New American Grill? Did that used to be your shop there?
No, that used to be a thrift shop.
Right. Was that owned by Max also as well too?
Yes.
I forget. That's what I thought.
Yeah, so that was his daughter was doing a Rekindle.
Okay,
thrift shop.
Yeah.
So once that was over, I actually went in there.
So that couldn't have been crazy. It had to have been something else.
Yeah.
like so much time has already passed by. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I went in there, painted the whole place. I redid the carpet, redid everything for Max, and then we put the stage in, and there's a little bar in there. It's a good little spot.
Yeah, there's been a lot of mutual benefit between us and Max, where he's helped us out a bunch, and Joel especially has, helped him with all sorts of things. So
it's hard to believe it's been almost 20 years that Max has been there at the New American Grill. We were chatting about that this past week. It's wild.
He's kind of a staple of the community now.
Very much so. Yeah, absolutely. How do you guys like your business so far next door?
It's been great, just to be, we're open 6 days a week. Having it just be a record shop before with Sujay was really cool because it was just records. But sustainability wise, it was really tough. So to try to open it up, to have it open 6 days a week and offer kind of something for everybody where
people will stop in for a cup of coffee. You won't just stop in for
coffee and music kind of go hand in hand. That's perfect.
Yeah.
So as well too. Yeah.
So we have the coffee that's locally roasted down the street. And then they like, oh, records. Oh, cool stickers, or hey, look, there's some vinyl or this or that, or it's a recording studio too. Well, that's perfect. My daughter plays some music.
It's perfect. It's like perfect add-on sale merchandise, because I've had years of experience working in retail, like in the sporting goods business, and also with Okemo as well too. Sometimes having those other little things that catch the person's eye. Ooh, what's that? I need that. Like all the stickers on my guitar now that you guys flooded me up with everything. Either of you guys, Cape Cod or Ohio, did you have any experience prior with working retail or developing coffee, or how did the concept come up to do all that? Was it just like, hey, this could also be a nice thing financially to get involved with as well too with this business?
I had worked retail for 3 months before they're like, we need you to work Thanksgiving. And then I said, no, I'm not, and quit. So
you go back to that. No, I'm not.
I think we were talking
I'm a
stubborn person. I don't know if you picked up about it. But
and they weren't on board with that.
So they also don't let me run the shop. That's Martha, Joel's wife, is kind of the primary person for the most part.
And then as far as it was just totally random. I used to work on a ship. I was in the Merchant Marines for 7 years.
Wow.
So then
thank you for your service.
Yeah, it's not like that, but thank you. You
can thank him.
Sure.
I'm giving you the pat on the back.
Yeah,
Come on.
No, it's fine. So I did that, and then I moved up here. I started another business, sold that, and then this kind of just flourished into, I don't know. We were doing coffee. We did a little test with coffee before with an espresso machine last year, and it worked. People were liking it and coming in more. And then this year we just went all out and redid the place. And it was more of my wife wanted to try something different, wanted her to run her own business.
Right.
So she's running the Electric Mayhem part.
Nice.
Where that's all the coffee, the vintage clothes, we even have guitar straps or strings, tuners, earplugs, and then I also have some art in there. I make random things.
Yeah.
If you ever need a lamp made out of a clarinet or a trombone.
Joel's I got the trombone lamps, saxophone lamps. I have a snare drum clock. Keep the time. Get it.
Change the subject. You were talking about stuff made from all various parts. Did you ever see the troll down in South Londonderry, Lost Fin, made out of all recyclable wooden parts?
I I haven't gone in person, and it was like, oh yeah, I'll go after. And then there's the whole big thing about too many people showing up.
Sure,
It's
yeah,
shut down
yeah.
now, but.
I hate to say it, unfortunately, it's another double-edged sword of like it's a tourist attraction
It's a cool thing.
in small town Vermont. People are bound to catch on to it eventually. Like here in Ludlow with Buttermilk Falls, like a classic watering spot that everybody picked up on after all these years. It is what it is. And again, being a guy from Connecticut, not originally from here, although I've got 6 years under my belt in. This is not a calendar, but a week. Or let's just say, people catch on to things. So we mentioned before the recording, we're all mid to late 30s. Interesting question I have for you guys. You mentioned you had a previous business that you bought, sold, this and that. Whether it was through success, failure, or kind of a little bit in between, do you find now having another business under your belt, you take a lot of that experience from the past and applying into what you know now or what you're striving for as business owners now?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's no success without failure. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I was ultimately like asking, like, because I find that it's important to fail because it humbles you out, and then you just come right back like with another chip on your shoulder, whatever that may be.
Yeah, and that's so my day job. I'm a software programmer,
software engineer. You mentioned,
and part of the target for how you have to approach anything where it's a development context is failing faster gives you a lesson to learn from, and then you can do better. And and that's something that our kind of one of our internal mantras in our company is fail faster, and we need to just know if this works or not. And you're not going to figure it out ahead of time. You just got to try it, and that's something that Joel in particular has been a big spearhead for that. I thought we were talking hypothetically about starting a recording studio, and he was like, "Oh yeah, talked with Sujay, and I got a space set up to rent." And started the ball rolling. He was like, "I'm here trying to plan, think things through." And a couple years down the line,
Joel's like, "I hope you don't mind, John. I signed your name. I forged your name on the document. Like, hey, we're going.
They're coming for your house.
They're coming for you now.
That's it.
And not in the case where you can go, no, I'm not.
No, but it's good. He's definitely a take action guy, and he's going to take action having thought through it. It's not like he's just going to haphazardly do stuff, but not my version of thinking through where nothing happens. That's where I get wrapped up.
But sometimes meetings do accomplish things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. Your software engineer company, is that mobile? Is that local in Vermont?
Yeah, fully remote. It's a company based out of Cincinnati where we had been living. I lost my job while we were moving up here. And literally, I was driving in the car on the way up to Vermont when I got a call from my boss in Cincinnati saying, "Hey, you've got the job if you want it." So it was just this weird, as I was leaving Cincinnati, I got a job there, and I've been there ever since. And, so I'm at 9 years with the company.
Yeah. And did you start working remote with them before you moved here, or was that kind of a COVID thing? Is it
from day one, I was fully remote. 2015, I was fully remote up here working for them.
How long did it take you to get used to just working from home?
My previous job, I had a lot of flexibility, so I would still work at home a fair amount, and so it didn't take much. I'm also, introverted and pretty reclusive.
Yeah.
And so my wife and I both work from home, and we just kind of ignore the world outside and do our thing, and she's as close as I have to a coworker most days.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you're definitely fully involved with the community, whether it's open mic or with the business. Once again, everybody joining in eventually. We're talking with John and Joel of Rusty Door Recording down in Londonderry, Vermont, next to the New American Grill, the hardware store, and the Village Market. So talk a little bit about this recording that you have coming up involving artists recording flood songs involving last year's flooding in July 2023.
Yeah. So it's kind of part way an outgrowth of the recording studio, part way an outgrowth of the open mic, where it was several singer-songwriters were going to open mic regularly, and we kind of just started talking. Hey, there's several of us that have songs that we could write, or this would be a good excuse to write a song. Let's write something, get it recorded, and the goal is to put it online, be able to accept donations, and put it towards the different charities that have done a lot of work over the last year to recuperate.
Because in particular, Londonderry, like Ludlow and Weston, got hit really hard with that flooding last year.
Yeah, and the floodwaters got up to the stairs behind the grill in the studio. And,
I remember you showed me like one night afterwards when we were showing me the studio really quick. Yeah,
so we dodged a bullet. We couldn't get over to the studio. We sent one of our friends over to check. Hey, is anything flooding there? And we were fine, but so many of the other businesses in the area got hit really hard. So it's kind of some way that we're trying to give back. But we have several local singer-songwriters, Max Casano and Tom Davidson and Jill Sachs. And then I've got a song that will be on there as well.
All staples of the community also as well too. Yeah. Did you guys put your guitar and bass efforts into any of the songs with them?
I'm on most of the tracks just by default because I was running the sessions. Jill is on, I think, most of the songs. We tried to cross-pollinate where we could. I'm going to trick Joel into playing bass on my song.
Sure.
I have to wrap that up. So we're trying to, bring in people who aren't necessarily always included in music projects, but might have a chance to jump in.
You guys sing on any of the tracks either too? Or are you into singing?
I'll be singing on mine.
No, you're shaking your head. Yeah.
Yeah,
you never know. Someday, like you said, you just started with bass.
You never know.
He'll sing on occasion.
I try my best.
We should get Jack to sing.
Yeah,
definitely. Or Max or Jack. Yeah.
Max has been threatening to sing. He really wants to sing.
Yeah.
What about Steve Twitchell, Max's buddy? He could probably sing too.
Yeah,
he does. He goes.
He'll show up at open mic sometimes. He'll get some blues jams down.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the I love the regulars that turn out at New American Girl, whether it's for open mic or whatever. And
there's some characters.
I'm sure they fully have your guys' support with this record. And how has the community of Southern Vermont helped you guys in your business and your recording endeavors and just playing in general? It's got to be pretty humbling to see how supportive Vermont is of the artists and entertainers, right?
Yeah. It's really good. We've had a lot of different businesses reach out and help, whether it's New American Grill or even a huge shout out to like WEQX, Jeff Morad. He's been unbelievable, whether it's musicians wanting to get their songs on the radio.
Where's his station based out of?
Manchester.
Vermont? Okay, yeah.
So they're like an alternative rock radio station, fully independent.
Yeah.
One of the last ones in the country, actually, that's like an independent radio station.
Wow.
And they are like, it's rare when you see businesses that want to help that much. But yeah, they are just, there's an outpouring for local artists or local businesses. That's all they really want to support. So
absolutely.
They've been really cool in helping us with the shop or, albums or a flood relief. We did a big concert at Pingree Park. We were part of that.
Nice.
And
where is that? Pingree Park?
Pingree Park. That's up in Londonderry.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like a quarter mile away from the grill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that over where it connects 11 and 100 where the stoplight is? Or
like if you exit the parking lot, it's like across 100, whichever road that is.
Yeah.
Across. There's like a cemetery back there.
That way.
Yeah.
It's just
got
that way.
Left.
It's right outside of town there. And Saints and Liars were playing there. Pete Bernard from Devil Makes 3 played, and a few other artists. WEQX helped sponsor the whole thing.
The whole auction.
The whole auction, we raised about $30,000.
Wow.
Actually.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
All for flood benefits
flood
and
relief.
everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really cool. There was a huge turnout there.
Wow. That's impressive.
And it feels like people just want to help each other out. And, it feels in whatever they can bring to the table, everyone's got their own version of it. I know Ludlow had plenty of that going on where, hey, people just need help clearing out. So people just show up and start helping in their shop or whatever. And help get things up to speed. And I know Max at the Grill was just giving free food to people who are working other places, and I know that's
another thing
a community thing that matters.
Another thing that was remarkable about Max and the Grill was not that long ago, obviously 3 years before the flooding, when COVID was happening, he was basically using, as you guys know, the New American Grill for a spot where you can get like extra toiletries and stuff for people. That it's really impressive, and it's really sad that. Unfortunately, these weather events seem to keep happening, and we don't know when the turnoff point of that is or whatever. That's obviously Mother Nature's call. It's unfortunate sometimes in times of crisis when the community does finally fully all come together as one, but it's still a good feeling to help each other out no matter what. As I watched footage from my old neck of the woods in Connecticut a couple of weeks ago, Oxford, Connecticut got 16 inches of rain, and it's it's crazy, man.
Yeah. No infrastructure is designed to put up with that.
Nowhere on the planet, no landmass can like survive. Not even the Safari can probably survive survive that much water. Yeah. You guys have any big shows coming up?
No.
Nothing currently.
We're trying to plan something for like peak foliage. So we're trying to put something together.
Anywhere in particular?
No. I think just somewhere bigger where, you know, a rock band can play and not totally blow the room out.
Yeah.
So
Have you guys ever thought of that outdoor area down in Manchester where they do shows on Saturdays or Sundays at the park? Yeah.
Our previous band
we've played there before. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool setup.
Yeah.
I don't know if Saints and Liars have played down there. They might have in like in years past.
Yeah.
But
I know Luminous Crush just played there.
Yep.
I think Zach Yukaitis, Nick Breedis, Liz Reedy have all played down there also too.
Yeah.
And along with Max Casano, also members of the podcast so far. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for being a part. But anyways, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention release date plans for the album, for the Flood album.
Hopefully before this episode is out. I'm trying to wrap stuff up, and you know, there's a few people who are knocking on. I'm the slowdown currently. I'm the bottleneck, so
yeah,
I'm just working on getting that finished. But 2 songs are basically in the can. 1 is close, and then I have to just knock out 9. But
that's awesome. When you guys do play shows, how much emphasis do you put on social media content? Because as a major question, as you've seen in some of the episodes already, that is a full-time job in and of itself. Every artist or person has, and you guys know as brick and mortar retail business guys also as well too, it's a full-time job basically staying on top of all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you stay on top of it.
If you stay on top of it,
We try our best.
You mean TikTok's not just for scrolling? I can't I actually have to pay attention to what I put out.
It's, you know, it takes money to make money or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going by mostly word of mouth right now. We do social media posts, but it's still flooded on there too. It's like trying to, you know, so we're just going to try to keep, you know, playing not regularly, but try to make our shows a little more.
Yeah, we're trying to make each show matter on its own.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of the less is more
right.
approach.
Less shows, but then more emphasis on those shows. Yeah,
you can catch us once every couple months, and that'll be a show that you care about, and we'll bring something new to the table. We do have some marketing stuff kind of in the works that we're you know, trying to figure out, branding and all that stuff. So some of the guys are chipping away at that. It is easier when it's a group of 5 of us. Is that how many? Yeah, 5 of us.
Yeah,
I know how to count.
What kind of music do you guys really focus on at your shows?
90s alternative. You know, we've been throwing in some new metal for no reason. You know, so
we're gonna try to start doing. You know, we're working and talking about, you know, writing original music. That's really where we're gonna end up. But since we've all just got together within the last 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, it's been pretty quick.
So we're trying to figure each other out, what we want to play, what style of music we're doing. So we're doing covers right now, just trying to figure out, well, what do we want to play?
Yeah. So, you know, last show was Smashing Pumpkins and Rage Against the Machine and
Tool.
And
you guys ever cover Red Hot Chili Peppers or Foo Fighters?
We do. We do have a few Foo Fighters songs. We've done a couple Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
I don't think we did one last time, but we did the show before we did a show.
You guys ever see any of those bands live?
No.
I've always wanted to see the Foo Fighters just because I love relating this story. Part of the title of the podcast being the Tasty Twist, and because we all work together, restaurants, entertainers, we're all part of this giant iCloud, for lack of a better term, of customer service and entertainment.
Yeah.
So one of the stories I always like telling, I'm sure you see these memes pop up online, is when Dave Grohl has free time, he cooks for 16-hour days barbecue food for homeless people.
Yeah.
How cool is
That's
that?
awesome.
Yeah. How cool. Those are like the feel-good stories I always want to hear more in the world. You know, not just the negative stuff that divides everything, but
someone who has everything still being a good person. And giving back with it.
Yeah. Awesome. Like there's the whole thing with the Hawk Tua girl, you know, that TikTok influencer that got famous because of, you know, a fun sexual joke. Yeah. But her whole thing that she's pushing with her fame now is raising money and awareness for shelter dogs or service dogs. How cool is that?
Yeah.
The New York Mets invited her to come out, throw the first pitch. Oh, this is great. You know, she raised like millions and millions of dollars. But does the media talk about that? No, it's the Hawk Tua girl. Oh, here we go. Typical Mets. Oh my God. Come on, man.
I mean, I get why there's a
it is funny, but I mean,
But yeah, no, people want to use their platform for good. And I think that's kind of back to our conversation about Vermont as a whole. It feels like there's so many people who have that mentality.
Yeah.
And if all of us can pull together, and part of that's you having this podcast is that type of thing.
Absolutely.
You've spent a lot of time and effort building up your brand, and then you're sharing it with people. That's awesome. Like that's the exact kind of thing that we're all aiming for around here.
Because in a way, as artists and business owners, if we don't have each other pulling together, like I've always been a big advocate for, I believe being a musician or an artist could be healthy competition and not necessarily cutthroat. But unfortunately, in the world that we live in, there's always sometimes some towns, some areas of, I don't want to just say the Northeast, but anywhere in the world where it's, oh, you play here at my place, then you can't play for him because I don't like him, or you can't play within like a 5-mile radius. If it were all fully solely up to me, play anywhere you want. Healthy competition. Help people out. This podcast, I want, like I mentioned in the introduction, I wanted to carry over into interviewing restaurant owners and bar owners, not just musicians. Why not? Let it be fun. Let it be a fun platform for people to figure it out, Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. One nerdy thing I wanted to actually bring up about the business you guys have. Do you see an uptake in an uptick? I think that was the right term, in vinyl record sales. Do you guys sell other stuff besides vinyl? Like, do you sell CDs still, cassettes, or?
Yep, CDs, cassettes, vinyl. Yeah.
Do you have people that walk in the store and just be like, "Oh, you have that vinyl"?
Yeah, a lot of times, we're working on an inventory and stuff, but now vinyl is the number one thing for physical music. Yeah, it's the number one seller.
Isn't that crazy? Like we almost didn't say that a couple of years ago. Yeah. So and why is that? Why do you think it's made a comeback? Why do you think
COVID did the big thing on people were all stuck at home, and then what are we gonna do? Oh, I should start collecting records, and people are sitting at home now, and just let me put a record on. That's when it really rocketed off, and then people, like collecting things, like we're saying Pogs, or whatever, So I think people really like.
We should bring back the old school Pokemon cards or Connects or Legos because we're '90s guys. We should bring back. We mentioned before Sega Genesis, N64, just bringing back all that stuff. Yeah.
What is it? Charizard? It's like
Charizard. Yeah.
Charizard cards.
He's the
worth
third level.
It
was Charmeleon and then Charizard.
Charmander.
I don't know. Yeah. Charmander. Charmander. That was the one. Funny story about that. So growing up in Connecticut, there was an old shop similar to what you guys are doing down in Londonderry, where they sold all that fancy stuff, and then they also happened to have the Pokemon cards, the original 150. And, my mom and dad going along with it. So I put my mom through hell. I let her come to both first two Pokemon movies, in the movie theater. Mom, if you're ever watching this, I'm sorry I did that to you.
We're getting a heart-to-heart going.
Yeah. So Dad took me to The Emperor's New Groove with David Spade. That classic movie. I absolutely love that
That's
movie.
my favorite Disney movie.
Yeah. What's with the chimp and the bug? Can we get back to me? But no, I just remember being at my old house with my mom and dad in the late 90s, early 2000s with a Charizard holographic card. And according to my elementary school that I went to, whoever in my class paid attention to Pokemon, the 150, that was the big thing. You had to get the holographic Charizard. And I got it, and I'm jumping up and down on my mom's bed, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "You don't understand. Trust me. It's fine.
My life just
changed. Fine. My life just changed." It's oh, awesome.
A couple years back when COVID was still somewhat in effect and Wordle was a big thing.
Squirtle. That was a Pokemon, by the way. Yeah.
I made a Wordle parody called Squirtle where it was just Pokemon names. And so there was a point in time where I'd have, I'd check the Google Analytics on it, and I'd have several people a day come in to check which Pokemon it was that day. And it was just this weird. That was what I did with my downtime during COVID.
That's funny.
For no reason.
We're still relatively young, but one thing I always like to bring up to humans with face-to-face interaction now is we might have been too young to understand, but isn't it really crazy how much has changed in our existence pretty much since 9/11, as we're on the anniversary of the 23rd anniversary already of it's crazy how much has changed since we were growing up as kids in the 80s and 90s, and then post 9/11 with everything. Smart technology, the comfort level of people like chatting with each other, like we've all sort of become robots with these things.
Yeah.
It's a mind tease, isn't it? Don't you guys think? Like it's strange.
Yeah,
You know?
it's weird to look back at what I would have thought the future was going to be like, and seeing what it is now. The future, now that we're living in it, is odd.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, but with platforms like a podcast, the old school face-to-face communication is still refreshing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure as business owners, you guys feel that, and with open mic also as well too. Again, open mic and shows being great outlets for meeting people. And so, good segue actually. Do you guys have, as new band members together, new business partners, any advice for some younger than us up and coming artists or musicians like that you'd want to share with them?
I love the silence.
Yeah.
As far as sticking with your craft, not getting discouraged, just always keep trying, don't give up. Kind of getting back to the succeeding or failure.
What Joel said earlier, failure is kind of a prerequisite for success to some degree. And you can't be afraid of making a fool of yourself. You can't be afraid of putting the work in. You're going to be bad at something before you're good at it. So have fun being bad at it for a while. And, something that I learned early on was bombing on stage feels really bad until you're used to it. And then you're not afraid of it anymore.
Right.
And then that won't throw you off for the rest
you
of the
You almost kind of embrace it because it's not going to phase you after
and
that.
It's one of those, you'll hear that kind of thing from a lot of comedians. There's the stories about Norm Macdonald would go up on stage just to bomb because he wanted to remind himself that he doesn't have to be afraid of it, kind of thing. And, and music is that kind of thing. You can, we all hear the people who have spent hundreds and thousands of hours perfecting their craft, and then we hold ourselves to their standard, and we're not going to be there. Yeah. You got to be where you are and increment yourself, and not be afraid of that. So I think that's my big thing that I try to harp.
Not to mention also being adaptable too, with like having to have all the videos and real content stuff now with technology, how much has changed. You practice for hours on your instrument, sight reading, or now everything's online, YouTube videos. I mean, we can have the face-to-face lessons with people, but most of the time people are learning on their phones, and just so much of that has has changed. How has been, when you guys do live shows, how has it been engaging with the audience? Because that's another element of being an artist in and of itself, is not just making sure you guys are in sync and connecting on stage together, but also how's the audience feeling? Like, how do you read the audience? Has it been a challenge? Do you like it? Or is it every show's different?
Well, with the new band, we've only done 2 shows. So I do like having like a stage presence. I try. The first one I feel like was really good. I felt like I had a lot of fun. Yeah. The second one I felt more nervous and stuff, but we're definitely, and with the lead singer, we definitely
let him take the focus.
Yeah, we let him take the focus with the stage presence. So he's pretty good at it.
He's
getting better.
Getting experience. Like he only, the first time he sang on stage was at open mic a year and a half ago or something like. So like his progression over the last
crazy
couple of years has been.
Have you sensed that, like the confidence level going up? With him for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But as far as like audience reaction, I'm the wrong person to ask. I don't care. The other musicians, I'm kind of in that. We'll connect with them. Like live shows do nothing for me, and I'm not. So like it took a bunch of convincing for me to even play shows with them because I hate.
Oh yeah, to be in the band. Yes, we said, well, you're not in the band. So well, maybe I'm like, it's up to you. Yeah, whatever. So,
but you guys could also, as you said, 5-piece band, right? You guys are a 5-piece band, so you have keys also as well too.
We have 2 guitars, then bass, drums, and vocals.
One acoustic, one electric.
Both electric.
Both electric.
Cool. Now we'll kind of trade off lead duties. It's having people that you can trust to. You want to have your time to shine. I'll let you have it, and we can swap that back and forth.
Because you guys, being your own recording studio also as well too, now helping artists out with this Flood album. If the live shows don't necessarily take off, you still have in your back pocket, hey, we could be a recording band, just like a session band. Yeah. And because I'm sure with your company, you probably also have the legal rights to upload stuff on Bandcamp, DistroKid. Yeah. So you can just record whatever the heck you want at any point in time, whether it's a single, an EP, or an album. You don't necessarily have to play the live shows, even though live shows do add a lot of value. People want to see you out and about, but hey, you always have this as like
Yeah.
a safety net to be able to do that no matter what.
And that writing and recording stuff is really what I care about when it comes to music. And so I've got solo stuff that I've been doing for years. And so I'm always throwing more stuff out online. And, you know, most of it's just because I'm interested in it and I'm not trying to build a fan base or anything like that. But it's just putting that out there and just the practice of recording that way. Like that to me is where music is interesting.
Is it hard, the songwriting process for you, as far as you come across an idea, you write it down or you record it on your phone and then you come back to it another week, another year?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes years to actually release your own stuff confidently because it's like, I'm not feeling it. Or, oh, now I'm really feeling it. This is like the right scenario where I can put it out to the world.
Part of that, like I took the approach a couple years back. I did it first in 2019. It was whatever demos I recorded this year, I'm just going to release those and be fine with that being representative of my output for the year. And not trying to take too much pride in this is the exact version I wanted this to be. It's just I need to put something out there, not be afraid of failure, kind of back to that thing. But where it's something that I care about, you know, I've been working on, there's one album in particular. I've got like 5 different albums in the works. And none of them are going to get finished. One of them I've been working on since like 2009. You know, like it's that.
Never say never, John.
I'll get there, maybe. I'll get one of them through the door. So part of it
you got the go-getter right next to you here who can nudge you. Keep me going. Yeah.
So a lot of it is the less that you build up, this has to be the perfect version of this, the easier it is for you to say, this is a good enough version to share with the world. And I think that that's something that I'm still struggling with and trying to internalize. But that's something where I think working with other people where it's helping them. I have a better sense of objectivity when it's someone else's song. I'm helping you record it. I want it to be something you're happy with. Are you happy with this? And how can we help? You know, it's easier for me to get through that process with other people.
And as you're producing and recording this album with the artists, do you guys also have the responsibility of telling certain artists, do you want a click track? Do you not want a click track, to be able to get the timing down? Because that's got to be hard for some musicians sometimes when they're in the studio recording, I would imagine. I've had experience with that. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the click track. I'd rather just kind of play it organically that way. I don't know how that experience is with you guys with helping the artists.
It's definitely, we want to get the best quality we can, but the biggest impact of quality is the artist's comfort. And so that determines whether or not we use a click. That determines what approach we take. And so there's some artists, or song by song, some songs are better with, you know, you can fluctuate with your tempo and that's great. But if we're going to add in a bunch of elements and add drums and stuff, we got to use a click. You know, it's kind of figuring out the mechanics that way. But a lot of it really is, what are you comfortable with? Knowing that my ultimate goal would be to push people to as consistent a tempo as possible, ultimately towards click. But that's a weird thing that people don't have a lot of practice with. And you can practice with a metronome, but your ears while you're playing it is not the same as the ears of anyone listening to you practicing with the metronome.
Yeah.
You're desynchronizing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's you're practicing behind closed doors, and then, it's game time, whether it's a live show or whether you're recording the album. It's now put together what you have and then be adaptable. Yeah. And sometimes that's like hard for people. Besides your instruments that you guys play, when you're listening to music, do you have a favorite instrument that stands out to you sound-wise, frequency-wise, like the saxophone, flutes, violin? Is there an instrument that you don't play that you enjoy the most listening to?
Usually play all the instruments, though.
Oh, you do?
I'm a jack of all trades. I can function. We'll get that out there.
Yeah.
No, I'm
baritone, tenor, alto, soprano. No.
I just got a new alto. So
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. Awesome.
He rips on it too. I was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I've got like 6th grade competency as far as the mechanics of the saxophone, but I've got the musical knowledge to make it sound like I'm better than I am. And like that's the trick. But I've always been big into like electronic music and stuff where it's just weird sounds that have musical aspects to them. And you know, that to me is, in many respects, kind of home base for music for me, is weird synths doing weird synthy things.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly the question, but I think kind of
I would go along with it. Yeah. Joel, do you have a favorite instrument of choice?
I guess it would probably be the drums. I'd have to say. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't play the drums.
Nice. You have a favorite drummer? Who's your favorite individual artist, by the way, guys? Each one of you. Who's your? That's a broad question.
Like band or individual?
Individual. Like, so we've covered genre. Then we can go band.
Okay.
Or I'll tell you what, make it easier. Top 3. We'll do like a little game. Let's do it as like top 3.
Let's stack it.
Yeah, like pancakes. Maple Leaf Diner. Love those guys. Yeah. Bob's Diner too, Manchester.
Yeah,
nice spot.
A lot
too.
of good diners.
Yeah.
Right. So individual, I'd say Dan Briggs. He's the bassist for Between the Buried and Me, but he has like 5 other side projects that are all across the gambit. He's got like a jazz fusion trio. He's got a like post-rock punk thing. He's got his own solo stuff. And it's just, you're never sure what he's going to bring out and bring to the table. So he's up there. Devin Townsend is kind of a weird all across the gamut. A lot of it's metal, but he'll throw in other things. I torture Joel with some Devin Townsend stuff from time to time. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it's intense.
It's a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
So those guys come to mind most readily, but
That's only 2.
I don't know how to count.
I don't have a third.
You answer a couple, I'll think of a
Oh,
third.
Okay,
my
we'll just do 2 each. That works. Yeah, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
right. I'm trying. I knew it was gonna. I was trying to think of somebody obscure. Like not like a
Jaco
mainstream-
Pastorius.
Yeah.
Actually, he's not obscure. He's a monster.
no,
Yeah.
Max from Unqualified. I know you just had those guys.
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
I have him in my phone as Max Pistorius because so one time he was texting me asking about something. He was like, "Hey, I'm the reincarnation of Jaco." Just joking around. So,
you're
now
like,
he's still in my phone.
And you're like, you are?
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah.
So I guess as far as I'm trying to think of like inspirational people, but definitely
Sure.
like mainstream stuff is like definitely.
By the way, obscure people can be inspirational.
yeah,
also,
no,
too,
definitely,
you know,
definitely.
Maybe John's obscure. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
not obscure enough
Yeah.
for Joel.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
God, you're hanging out with an odd individual yourself, also too.
Yeah. No.
Uh,
I think as far as artists, one guy that's really cool that I think from a long time ago is I have to do a shout out for these guys, but it was a band called Secret Machines. And actually lives up. One of the guys, Brandon Curtis, lives up by Burlington now.
Okay.
But those guys were awesome in this kind of psychedelic rock type thing that really, I think, got me. I don't know. They were just inspirational. That was one of them.
They
And
solely
then-
based out of Burlington? Or
No,
travel
they used to be in
around, or-
LA, Texas.
Oh,
and
okay.
They came out the same time as like Arcade Fire and stuff.
Okay,
So they were
okay.
kind of competing with them. And
Okay.
they toured all over the
Another
place.
great band, by the way, too. Arcade
Yeah,
Fire.
yeah.
Good band.
So, that stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously like The Flea, Dave Grohl, Chris Cornell, all that.
All the big names from the
all,
era.
all the big names from that era are really inspirational to
Yeah,
me too.
Scott
so.
Weiland, Chester Bennington, all the guys
Yeah,
from
yeah.
there.
So definitely.
Yeah.
So those guys are definitely.
I remember the first time hearing Chris Cornell and or Scott Weiland. I talked about this, I believe, with Ali T on episode 1. Just how high those guys can sing, how anybody can sing that high.
Yeah.
That
long. Like,
for
that's
that
the
long,
other
yeah,
thing,
exactly. Yeah. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. I like singing, but I don't think I could ever like belt them that high or not until you get the falsetto going. And a lot of artists like doing the falsetto as well too. Awesome. You guys, it's been a lot of fun here with you all today. Another thing we do at the very-ish end kind of the episodes, do you have anybody in your family, local friends circuit that you want to send a special shout out to?
No. I'm joking.
Okay.
No, I just,
Shout out the barista at Electric Mayhem. Was her name?
Yeah,
Martha?
yeah. Martha, my wife Martha at Electric Mayhem.
And my
She's-
wife, I
she's-
guess.
Yeah, Becca. Yeah. So, yeah, those shout out. Shout out to Max from the grill.
Max
Always
from the grill,
helping us
Max and
out.
Jack and everybody there.
Yeah.
Max, Jack, all those guys.
Last question for you guys, besides being coffee advocates, do you have a favorite food that you like to cook or enjoy when you're playing out at shows or at home simply? Is there a favorite food you like to cook?
I could live on curry.
So like Mexican type food?
No,
pretty
like
much,
Indian.
or India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the spicy, burn
Nice.
your mouth.
Yeah, burn your mouth. Yeah.
Or spicy Mexican. I'm Bueno Burrito and Rutland has
You're
my
into
favorite
the
habanero
skin being burned off.
I
the roof
want
of your
I want to
mouth.
be hiccuping and I want my lips to not have sensation. Yeah, that's
good for the stomach too,
Yeah,
right? We were talking
perfect.
about perfect. Yeah.
Food, steak.
Steak.
Just like steak. Yeah.
Is that a desert
I-
island food? You're
yeah.
stuck on a desert island the rest of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
Awesome.
You know,
No cupcakes, no cookies, ice cream.
Sure.
Yeah,
but steak.
all of it.
Like,
But steak.
Survival of like, if you had to eat one thing,
Yeah.
Like steak.
That's awesome. I'd have to go pizza or grilled chicken. Stuck on an island, that'd probably be mine too. I suck at making both of them. That's why I love playing out at restaurants that serve both of those foods.
Yeah.
So awesome. Gentlemen, thank you guys for being here. Once again, everybody, it's John and Joel from Rusty Door Recording. Check them out in Londonderry, Vermont, Electric Mayhem, home of In the Moment Records, Rusty Door Recording. And be on the lookout for their album that they are finishing up, benefiting flood victims down in that area. And all the artists that did that. Once again, I am Sammy Blanchett, host of The Tasty Twist with Sammy B. Thank you again, Okemo Valley TV, for the platform. Thank you to all the Vermont musicians who have made this possible so far. And again, this is episode number 13. Be sure to check out Okemo Valley TV's YouTube channel, subscribe, okemovalley.tv, and download their mobile app to check out all 7 episodes so far. We will catch you guys next time. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Peace. Yeah. Back to the shades.